Welcome into the Business on Purpose podcast. Scott Beebe, your host, the head coach and the founder of the Business on Purpose platform. Waking up today to do one thing, and that's to liberate you from the chaos of working in your business. You have to make, as a small business owner, decisions every minute of the day, every 10 minutes of the day, every second of the day. It seems like decision making is par for the course. In fact, it should be one of the first items on the job role of a small business owner, as CEO, this idea of having to make decisions. And a lot of times having to make benign decisions, but many times having to make really important decisions, or at least what feels very important at the moment. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of decision making that we do on a regular basis where we follow flow, we follow algorithm, we follow process, right? That's what we do. We're process people. We teach small business owners how to be process people. And so when making a decision, and you've heard some of the decisions here on this podcast because how we talk about real life situations. When we come out of these conference rooms and these online meetings with real life, real-time small business owners as they're making real-time decisions. And you hear us talk about things like starting with your vision, run the decision through your vision, going to your mission, then going to your unique core values and allowing those to be, somewhat of a coffee filter for decision making. A lot of the times what we do though, and we don't talk about this overtly, but we need to. The first thing that I encourage a lot of people to do when they're making the decision is do something that may not be top of mind, and it certainly may not be culturally appropriate, but that's okay. There's a verse in the Bible. It's in the New Testament, towards the end of the Bible. It's in a little letter called James. And it says, if any of you lacks wisdom, which would be all of us, right? If any of you lacks wisdom, if you don't have it in a certain situation, then ask God. I realize that I might lose some of you on this, but I really would like for you to stay with me just for a second, regardless of your faith background. Just hang with me. If any of you does not have wisdom, ask God. Why would you do that? Why would you ask God and not go to dictionary.com or Google or wherever? Well, I think to some extent, you've got to believe that there's something outside of us. I happen to believe that God is the one true God, this Father of Jesus Christ, the Son who was sent here. And there's a whole story that goes with that, and I won't go into that on this podcast, maybe somewhere down the road. But in this case, I do believe that if vision is to be true, then God has to be true, because God created the earth through a vision that he had. Now, I realize that there is there's divergent theories on this, so I totally get it. I've read the books, Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins, and all of those. And yet at the same time, I remain convicted through this. And so when decision-making comes, and I read a verse that says, if any of you lacks wisdom, that would be me. I lack wisdom on a daily basis. Ask God. That is a stalwart, immovable truth that I can go to, a well that I can always draw water from. That's a well I want to go to. If any of you lacks wisdom, ask God. And then look what it says right after that. If any of you lacks wisdom, ask God, and he will give definitive truth, not wavering. It's an absolute. He will give to all. That's everybody, you included. He will give to all without, and then I'm going to use my own paraphrase, without making you feel bad. If any of you lacks wisdom, that's me, ask God, an immovable truth, and he will give, absolute, to all, you included, without making you feel bad. Wow. Who else can make that guarantee? And so, do you need to hire a new ops manager? Do you need to let that team member go? Do you need to set a certain date for the next product line? If any of you lacks wisdom, ask God. Again, regardless of where you're at in your faith journey, in your faith background, in this adventure, I'm going to ask you to put it to the test. Even if you are a bona fide, dyed-in-the-wool atheist, you just don't believe that God exists, I'm going to ask you to believe just for a little bit. And in the situation that you're going to face today, if any of you lacks wisdom, I want you to ask God. Head on over to mybusinessonpurpose.com/vision to get the clarity you need. I'll see you on the next podcast.